Hey guys, welcome to No Filters, Just Freedom, the show for people who are ready to stop shrinking, start rising, and live with unapologetic audacity. My name is Jasmine, I'm a life coach, and I'm here to guide us all through this journey of bold, authentic living. Welcome back, everyone, to the podcast where we celebrate the messy, real, and sometimes weirdly liberating parts of life. Today's topic, being alone. Not the lonely eating cold pizza in the dark kind, but the I'm my own favorite date kind. Picture this. It's Friday night. You're wearing your good sweatpants. There's takeout for one, a movie queue full of films nobody else would sit through with you, and absolutely zero compromises on the thermostat setting. This isn't loneliness, friends. It's luxury. Today we're throwing a solo party and everyone's invited. And by everyone, I mean just you. And that's exactly the point. In a world that treats alone time like a sentence to be served rather than a gift to be unwrapped, we're reclaiming the narrative. Because learning to be your own best company isn't just useful, it's revolutionary. So whether you're single, taking a social break, or just rediscovering yourself, let's talk about the magic and occasional mishaps of flying solo. So first, let's normalize the glorious awkwardness of early solo adventures. Being alone can feel like a skill you forgot to practice until suddenly you're face to face with you. Here's what no one tells you. You have to have your first solo dinner. Why is it that when you go out, having a table for one feels like a deep dive confessional? Like, it feels like everyone is judging you, the waiter sees right through you, and people automatically assume that you can't find your own friends, no one loves you, and you're just some sad, pitiful, broken puppy that needs a home. Why is that? Why can't I just enjoy a good meal that I didn't have to cook? Because sometimes I just don't feel like cooking. Sometimes I just don't feel like doing it for myself. So as a mom who's at home with a 2-year-old and a wife with a husband who works a really heavy job and isn't here all the time, I spend a lot of time with other people, cooking and cleaning the house and making sure she's good and making sure the laundry's done and all of these extra things. Sometimes when they're gone, I don't want to cook again. Sometimes I'm not in the mood to do all this extra stuff. Sometimes I just want quick and easy and something that tastes good that I was craving. Why do I have to look awkward doing it? The first time you do it, it is going to feel uncomfortable. It is going to feel like people are judging you. But you know what? You're worth letting it get over. You're worth getting over that feeling. So pro tip, if you're out in public, bring a book and pretend you're some mysterious protagonist and everyone is wondering what you're up to, okay? The next thing you could fall into is the comparison trap. The one where you're scrolling through your friends' grouped photos while considering whether to name your houseplants. That moment where you are like, am I missing out? It's like the ultimate form of isolated FOMO, where you're like, well, maybe I should have said yes to hanging out. Maybe I should find some people. Maybe it's unhealthy for me to be by myself. I want to talk to my dog. I want to talk to my plants. I want to do these things, but does that make me crazy? Am I crazy? Have I lost my mind? No. Stop spiraling, okay? It's not that deep. If you want to be by yourself and alone, do that. Stop comparing your isolation moments that are healthy, I promise, to other people doing whatever they want in the moment. That doesn't mean that there won't be a different moment in your life where you're going to want to hang out with friends or you're not going to want to do things with people. It just means in this very moment, you would prefer to be by yourself. And that feeling is glorious. So, and spoiler alert, the plant might actually be better company. Because here's the thing, pictures don't always tell you exactly what's happening. So everyone might be super happy in this photo, and then 5 minutes later, they could be arguing about where to go and what to get for food. You never know what's happening in this photo. They could be trying to get this photo to look good, and half the people in the photo actually hate each other. You have no idea what's happening. Maybe you would rather be by yourself and have interesting personal conversation than the weird small talk that can happen in groups. Okay? You might actually have better company with yourself popcorn, and a movie. Random thought. Then, of course, you have the boredom breakthrough. It's that moment you stop reaching for your phone and realize silence isn't actually loud. That saying where it's like silence is deafening, I get the point of the saying, but it's not true. Sometimes silence is encouraging. Sometimes silence is warm and enveloping. Sometimes silence is everything you needed in the moment. That level of emptiness feels good. That level of no one is calling my name and I'm not calling anybody else's name. That moment where you randomly were like, I have birds outside my house. I didn't know that. That moment where you're like, I never knew that I could hear the AC running. All of these different things, these aha moments that happen when you're just present with the moment. When you're just sitting there and letting the outside world do its thing and you're not interrupting it. Okay? Living in that silence can shift from uncomfortable to addictive once you stop drowning in it. Okay? Once you stop driving it out, once you start enjoying your own company, silence is beautiful. I have a very loud life, okay? People calling my name, my kid needing something, when you are at home, you're doing dishes, you're taking care of this, I'm recording podcasts, I'm doing TikTok videos, I am moving and moving and moving, and that's just at home. That doesn't include going out, taking my kid to the museum, hanging out with family. I have a very loud life, and sometimes it's just absolutely glorious to just have silence. That feeling is so addictive. For me, I personally love going to the movies alone. That is my favorite pastime. I have been doing it since I was in high school, and so much of it was because my world is so loud and I couldn't think. I was tired of running through everything and trying to keep up with the hustle and bustle of my life. It just felt like it was going and going and going, and I never had a chance to breathe. But I love films. I love films. My dad and I used to do films together, and now that he's not here, that is my safe space, okay? I actually have a subscription that, if you love movies, totally get it, unsubscribe promo, I have a subscription that allows me to see 3 free movies a week. Yes, 3 free movies every week. I could just get up and go see a movie, and it will cost me no money, which is crazy in this day and age because I don't want to spend $20 to see a movie that may or may not be good. I don't know. I'm just going because I want to be alone. And it's so much fun because I don't have to ask somebody if they're willing to see it, scared that they might judge me on my preferences. I don't have to ask if somebody wants to go with me, scared that they're going to be like, no, I have a better idea and I'm not going to get what I want. And there's only been one time in my life that I wanted to see a movie and I allowed other people to stand in the way of that. And it is one of the biggest regretful moments I have. If you catch me on a bad day, I'll still vent about it. Okay, it bothered me. That is my safe and sacred place. And I go in, sometimes I get a popcorn, sometimes I get my Twizzlers, I always get a drink, and I sit there and I recline my chair, and it is the best 2.5 to 3 hours of my life. Turning the phone on Do Not Disturb or airplane mode is so amazing. Okay, I love my movie time. Everybody should find something that they can talk about that with that much emotion, with that much enjoyment. I love movies so much, I might go see a movie later today after doing this podcast. I just might. I don't know. I might treat myself again. Everyone needs to find at least one thing in their life that makes them excited to do by themselves. It's amazing. And once you start paying attention, you'll notice them everywhere. Them being the people quietly having the time of their lives alone. So let's decode the hidden perks of the unattached living, because that's what it is, unattachment. First, you have the joy of unobserved weirdness, okay? Nobody's in my house. I can get in the shower and enjoy my singing off key like a Disney villain, and somehow, to me, it sounds like I could get a Grammy. or an Oscar for my acting. You know, nobody is going to judge me for my song choice. Nobody is going to judge me for my shower playlist. Okay? You don't have to hate me for what I love. You don't have to be like, oh my God, were you listening to that in the shower? Yes, I was. I am not judging myself. I was having a good time. Okay? You could also have the no judgment snack buffet. Okay, you have it all laid out. I wonder what's in my pantry. And you know what? Cold cereal can be dinner, and it's just fine. As long as you eat, as long as you sustain yourself, who cares what you do on a stress-free treat yourself night? Who cares? Sometimes I want like a weird side of like a rice packet and ice cream. That's all I want for dinner. And I'm happy. Sometimes I throw some pieces of chicken in there. I don't know. No judgment from me. Other people might judge me. Other people be like, ew, that's weird. Did I ask you? I was home alone, minding my business, waiting to watch a movie or a sports game that was coming on. Okay? That's how I enjoy my life. That's what I enjoy doing. Then, of course, you have the creation of the bed kingdom. That moment where it's like starfish mode activated. Okay? You're just in the center. I have a king size bed, and when my daughter's not there and my husband's not there, freedom, okay? And then you have all your pillows. They're all yours. Make that fort you want to make. Set it up how you want to set it up. I get weird. I prop it up in weird places to where I have the perfect angle for the TV so that I can watch whatever I want to watch. You catch me on a good day, I prop myself up, and here I come, hoarders. Secret love. I love hoarders. That's neither here nor there. I don't care about your judgment. I was just putting out there what I enjoy. I will set myself up in a heartbeat. Don't let me pop my own popcorn at home. Okay? I love my bedroom kingdom. Okay? And then the beauty of all of this is that there are no witnesses. I'm going to keep saying it. No judgment. There's no judgment because you're treating yourself. All right? And I love a good spontaneous liberation of plans, okay? You can do things like hiking at sunrise just to see something beautiful. You're not gonna catch me hiking at sunrise because I don't wanna walk that much, but it's still a beautiful thing. I have one of my favorite memories with my best friends where we were trying to get close. We had the time. The backstory is a complicated backstory, but we just looked at each other at 10 p.m. and we're like, let's drive to the beach. And there were 4 of us. And we drove to the beach, got there at midnight, and sang and fell asleep under the stars to wake up and watch the sunrise to go back to doing what we were doing the next day. It was so amazing. And like, you can do that isolated. You don't have to wait for other people to do it. If you want to find another place, if you do want to hike a trail, if you do want to go and bird watch or whatever else, go do that. If you decide that I'm in the mood and you want pancakes at midnight, go get you some pancakes. No permission is needed. You get to be free. And that freedom is glorious. So newsflash, being alone doesn't mean you're failing at life. These cultural myths keep us afraid of our own company, like it's somehow a monster underneath the bed. So now we're gonna myth bust, okay? The first myth, alone means you're unwanted. It's not true. The real truth is that choosing solitude is power. It's your own power. You can take your power back. It's about your time, your energy, and your peace. Waiting for others to validate you is a prison. Okay? Other people don't need to give you permission to take care of yourself. You don't have to ask somebody else's opinion to love yourself. You don't. And if you feel the need to do that, you are in a toxic place. Now, maybe it's a toxic relationship with someone else because they've made you feel like if you don't ask me, you can't do anything. Maybe it's your own vulnerability that you have to work through. Whatever it is, if you feel like you need permission to love you, you are in an unhealthy place and you need to find a way to get out. So find some people that can help you, read a self-help book. I don't care. DM me. Something has to change so that you feel the liberation of just choosing your solitude, taking your power back. Okay? Another myth is that solo activities are sad and pitiful. Not true. Okay, the truth is that solo travel, museums, and coffee dates, these are acts of self-love, not pity. I loved myself to treat myself to something that I adore, and I didn't have to drag somebody to do it. I didn't have to wait for somebody else to take me and treat me. I got to do it on my own time. I looked at myself and said, self, you don't have any plans today. Would we like to go get coffee? This is the moment where it's okay to sound crazy talking to yourself. It's okay, because sometimes you need to validate yourself, okay? Respect yourself, love yourself, treat yourself. Solo activities aren't sad. And lastly, the idea that you need a partner or a group to be happy is 100% false, okay? The truth is, you only need you. You can make yourself happy. Everything else is literally just a bonus, okay? You are the only thing you need. Everybody else and everything in this life is just a bonus. The most interesting people know how to be interesting to themselves. Another, personal love that I actually do enjoy with other people, because I have other friends that love it with me, is RuPaul's Drag Race. Love RuPaul. It's hilarious. It's great. Love the reality TV. One of the things that he says at the end of every episode is, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to get anyone else to love you? That is so true. Okay, how can you expect others to love what you don't? How can you show the best side of yourself to others if you don't believe you have a best side? How does that work? You have to promote you. You have to be proud of you. You have to be grateful for you and what you bring to the table. If you're not excited about what you bring to the table, why should anybody else be? It's one of the most important values you need to have for yourself. If you don't love yourself, how can you expect anybody else to love you? So, because you love yourself, you're going to romance yourself like the mysterious stranger you've been waiting to meet, okay? You're going to be like, ooh, I'm excited. Let's date myself. So here's how, where you're both the pursuer and the prize, because yes, you are a prize. First, create a fancy for no reason dinner, okay? No reason, no. It's kind of like when you're with that significant other and they're like, let's go out to eat. We're going to go to somewhere really nice. And you're like, oh, what's the occasion? Oh, we don't have one. I just want to take you out. That is what you're doing for yourself, okay? Cook a stupidly elaborate meal for no reason that you've been thinking about trying, okay? That random recipe that you're like, I really want to try this, but you felt like you didn't have time. Do it for yourself, okay? Then light some candles, set the atmosphere, and you know what? Use the good plates. Why not? Nobody's stopping you. Love yourself, treat yourself, sit down and be like, yes, we are having a meal for us. And you know what a bonus is? Because you're not sharing it with anyone, you might actually have leftovers. And when you're in a big house and there are other people and you're feeding a lot of people and you have a kid that's growing, leftovers are like the biggest sanctuary special privilege you could ever have. Like, what do you mean I could eat this 2 or 3 times? And it sounds weird because why, are you so excited about leftovers? But you don't have to cook twice. You can enjoy your meal multiple times and you can just savor what you've created. Treat yourself. It's a beautiful thing. And then you could also take a midnight adventure. Like I was saying, me and my friends went to the beach, okay? Drive somewhere new just to watch the sunrise with a thermos of coffee, okay? Or some sort of hot chocolate or whatever your preferred drink is. But just go. Just get in the car and drive. You don't have to ask permission. Nobody is stopping you. Go be free. It is a freeing moment, okay? And then you can enjoy something that happens every day that you don't notice. It's a beautiful thing that you don't notice because you don't have time to stop and pay attention. And then one of my personal favorite things that you can do is a solo adventure jog, okay? I'm a spontaneous person, so this is really fun. You can put a bunch of activities or hobbies in a jar and then pull one once a week. So for me, that would be like a weekend activity because my mom has my daughter for the weekend and my husband works every other day. So there's always one day on the weekend where I'm by myself. And if I'm diligent about my time, I might not have to do any of my work for the week. I might have already taken care of it or anything else like that. So because of that, I might have free time. I can just grab a hobby that's written on a piece of paper and then be like, ooh, let's go do this. One of my favorite pastimes is going to Barnes & Noble, buying a book or buying a logic problem book because I'm that nerd, okay? And I don't care, no judgment. And I'll sit in Barnes & Noble and order a Starbucks coffee and then sit there all afternoon, either reading or completing a book. It brings me so much joy. Other people might look at me like I'm weird. Other people might be like, why is she sitting in Barnes & Noble? No computer, doesn't look like I'm doing work at all, just sitting there all afternoon. Love it. I'm so happy. I'm refilled. I'm recharged. I'm feeling good. Okay. Then also on your piece of paper, another thing you could put in the jar is something that brought you joy as a child before others got in the way. Okay, there's this great place we have in our area. I'm blanking on the name now, but the whole thing that you do is paint and drink wine. It's so cool. Like you can go in there and you paint on an easel and you do that fun thing, but you're also drinking wine. And sometimes if that's something you enjoy doing, if you grew up and finger painting was everything for you, or that level of creativity, do it and drink. Nobody is stopping you. Everybody is happy. Okay? It's such a good thing. It can be so enjoyable. Treat yourself. And the crazy thing is that one day you'll look up and you'll catch yourself feeling lighter when you're alone. Okay? You'll know that you've turned the corner of your personal freedom when you catch yourself smiling at nothing in particular. All of a sudden, you just have a happy atmosphere. All of a sudden, people can look at you and be like, what's going on? Nothing. I'm just feeling joy. And no one else created that joy. It's not circumstantial. I just have it in my heart. Or you start saying things like, I'd love to, instead of, well, who's going? Because it doesn't matter who's going. If I would love the adventure, if you're asking me to go somewhere with you and I enjoy what you're trying to do, then let's do it. Let's be great. Let's have fun. Let's do it. Okay? When your inner monologue switches from I'm alone to I'm free, because that's what it should be. That's what solitude should feel like, that power of freedom, of just being like, you know what? I am good and I'm loving it. Okay? When you stop apologizing for taking up space, that's a huge one. Okay? You don't have to be like, I'm so grateful that you let me be here. No, I'm enjoying being in this moment, in this presence. And honestly, y'all should be grateful that you get to spend time with me. The craziest thing about having the freedom of alone time is that it's going to come off to other people as if you are prideful and self-centered. And the problem is that other people don't always know what to do with boundaries and self-love. Because for those of us that also love ourselves enough to have the freedom of isolation, we will praise you too. Like, you had free time? Yes, I'm so happy for you. I love doing that for my friends. When they're like, yeah, and I just took this time this weekend and that's what I did. And I'm like, yes, I love it. Be free. I'm so excited. Like, that's what you're looking for. You don't have to apologize for taking up space, for making room for you. Okay? Enjoy it. Be like, oh, I can't hang out today. Why? Because I already have plans. You don't have to tell them that your plans are with you. You just already have plans. And then, of course, in order to have plans, carve out solo time like you do hanging out with your friends. Okay? Look at your calendar and write in a thing. I was on the phone with a friend and we were talking and we decided we wanted to do a couples hangout. Okay? And we looked at the calendar and we were like, okay, this date works best, and we penciled it in the calendar. Do the exact same thing for yourself. Okay? Look at the calendar, say, hey, I think I want to hang out with myself at this time. Schedule it in and call it a day. Okay? Because the truth is, being alone isn't emptiness. It's the quiet where you finally hear yourself. Solitude isn't the absence of company, it's the presence of you, and you're someone worth getting to know. If today's episode made you even 10% more excited to spend time with yourself, my work here is done. So your homework? Take yourself on one wildly unapologetic solo date this week. And don't you dare feel guilty about enjoying it. And also, if this resonated with you, share this with someone who also needs permission to enjoy their own company. And you can find me on social media to tell me your favorite solo ideas. Truth, I'm stealing more ideas. I always am looking for more ways to fill my space of I want to enjoy me, but I also want to try something new. You can find me on Instagram at breathe_easy_coaching, or you can find me on TikTok at lifecoach_Jasmine. And I'd love to hear your wins. I'd love to hear your solo activities, and I'd love to praise you for taking that independent freedom time. So remember, solitude isn't loneliness. It's the universe whispering, hey, you're pretty great. Thanks for being here. The most important relationship you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. Make it a good one. Now go forth and enjoy your own company. Remember, you don't need permission to be great. And this is your call to rise, to reclaim your power, and to step boldly into the life you were meant to live. I believe extraordinary potential lives in all of us. The dreams we've tucked away, the voice that was softened, and the fire that's been waiting to burn bright. This journey isn't about fitting into someone else's mold. It's about shattering expectations and embracing your truest, most unapologetic self. No more shrinking or waiting for permission. The world needs your brilliance, your resilience, and your unique light. It's time to stop asking, am I enough? And start declaring, I am more than enough. Your next chapter begins now. Let's write it with courage, audacity, and unshakable belief in who you are. The unstoppable person isn't born, they're awakened. And that person is you. Now go start your revolution. This world needs your unshaken light today.